and welcome back to This Week in New Genre Books. My name is Amelia, and from Locus Magazine, we're going to tell you all the new science fiction, fantasy, horror, and related books being published the week of November 19th, 2024. This week we have lots of glitzy parties and other dimensions, an earthquake that never stops, a Red Sonia novel, and the newest from Kevin J. Anderson, Susan Dennard, and Haruki Murakami. Please don't forget to like this video for me, please, and subscribe if you haven't already. It's a great way to support what we're doing, and it really helps us to hit these buttons. Plus, we're watching you if you don't. The algorithms are really good these days. First up, science fiction, we have two titles. From KB Wagers, we have And the Mighty Will Fall, out from Harper Voyager US in trade paperback, ebook, and audio. This is a science fiction space opera novel, standalone, but fourth in the Neo-G series. The Mars orbital station is being transferred from Neo-G to Mars civilian control, but members of the extreme wings of the fight for Martian independence refuse to remain silent and are willing to resort to violence. From Anna Moshovakis, we have An Earthquake is a Shaking of the Surface of the Earth, out from Soft Skull Press in trade paperback and ebook. This is a science fiction novel. After a seismic event, the ground remains in constant motion, leaving the unnamed narrator struggling to even walk. Then her housemate disappears, and she obsessively searches for her, even traveling back in time in her pursuit. Next up, horror, we have just one title. From M.M. Olivas, we have Sundown in San Ojeda, out from Lanternfish Press in trade paperback and ebook. This is a Southwest Gothic/horror novel. After her aunt's death, Liz and her younger sister return to the town where an accident left her clairvoyant. There, Liz discovers that monsters and ancient Aztec gods stalk the night. This is an annotated edition edited by Ruth Anna Emrys. Next up, fantasy, we have 12 titles. From Melissa Caruso, we have The Last Hour Between Worlds, out from Orbit US in trade paperback, ebook, and audio. This is a time loop fantasy novel. Kembrel Thorne is taking a few hours away from her newborn to enjoy a New Year's party when the guests start dropping dead and the party falls through layers of reality. From Carissa Broadbent, we have The Songbird and the Heart of Stone, out from Bramble in hardcover, ebook, and audio. This is a fantasy romance novel, third in the Crowns of Nyaxia series, and the first in a duology. Misha lost everything when she was forcibly turned into a vampire. Her home, her humanity, and most devastating of all, the love of the sun god to whom she had devoted all her life. From Piper CJ, we have A Chill in the Flame, out from Bloom Books in trade paperback, ebook, and audio. This is a dark fantasy romance novel, the first in the Villains prequels, a duology. Grieving her sister's murder, Princess Ophir's gift for fire magic threatens to incinerate the castle. Then mysterious siren Dwin arrives from the sea, pledging both assistance and something more. From Susan Dennard, we have The Whispering Night, out from Tortine in hardcover, ebook, and audio. This is a young adult fantasy novel, third in the Luminaries series. Winnie is looking forward to the Nightmare Masquerade, a week-long celebration. But as luminaries from across the world flock to the small town, uninvited guests also arrive. Winnie is confronted by a masked figure and charged with an impossible task. From Scott Drakeford, we have The Fate of Silent Gods, out from Tor in hardcover, ebook, and audio. This is an epic fantasy novel, the second in the Age of Ire trilogy. Emriel Ire has won the first round of war against the Dark God, but at a terrible cost to himself. He's unsure of who he can trust, even among his own people. Emriel must find a way to score a major victory against both the forces of the Dark Lord and the corrupt lords of the provinces. From Maya Abraham, we have Serpent Sea, out from Delacourt in hardcover, ebook, and audio. This is a young adult fantasy novel, the second in the Spice Road trilogy. Imani is a magic-wielding warrior sworn to protect her land from the monsters that roam the desert, but an even worse enemy now threatens the Sahir. Powerful Harrowlanders march south with their greatest weapon, spice magic. Imani knows invasion is imminent. From K.V. Johansson, we have The Wolf and the Wild King, out from Mystique Press in trade paperback and ebook. This is a fantasy novel. Assassin, executioner, shapeshifter, and dutiful son of the Undying Queen, Myron is haunted by the voice of someone who runs with him as a wolf in his dreams. More used to being the instrument of death than an arbiter of justice, he is dispatched by his mother to find the murderers who have performed an unsanctioned sacrifice. From Snorri Christensen, we have The Silent Emperor, out from Solaris UK in trade paperback and ebook. This is a fantasy novel about a secret order of Roman monster hunters, the second in the Hidden Legion trilogy. Emilius and his comrades in the Hidden Legion must infiltrate the villa of a powerful politician and foil a plot. As Emilius's magical powers unfold, he begins to hear the thoughts of animals and befriends a pompous house cat. From Haruki Murakami, we have The City and Its Uncertain Walls, out from Knopf in hardcover, ebook, and audio. This is a fantasy/magical realism novel. A young man searches for the imaginary city where his missing girlfriend's true self lives. He finds her working in a dream library with no memory of their life together. Translated by Philip Gabriel from the Japanese. From Nora Roberts, we have The Mirror, out from St. Martin's in hardcover, ebook, and audio. This is a gothic fantasy romance novel, the second book in the Lost Bride trilogy. Sonia McTavish inherits a huge Victorian mansion on the coast of Maine that turns out to be haunted. In her dreams, she sees an antique mirror that is drawing her into it. From Rebecca Robinson, we have debut novel The Serpent and the Wolf, out from Saga Press in hardcover, ebook, and audio. This is a fantasy romance novel. Vasa believes the magic growing inside her will kill her. Her merciless brother arranges a marriage to a foreign prince, so her death will give him an excuse for war. From comics writer Gail Simone, we have the debut novel Red Sonja, Consumed, out from Orbit US in hardcover, ebook, and audio. This is a tie-in fantasy novel based on Robert E. Howard's character set in the world of Conan the Barbarian. When rumors start bubbling up from Red Sonja's homeland about horrors emerging from the ground and dragging victims to their death, Sonia may have to return and confront her past. Finally, in collections and anthologies, we have 2 titles. From Kevin J. Anderson, we have Horror and Dark Fantasy Stories, Volume 2, out from Wordfire Press in trade paperback, hardcover, and ebook. This is the second volume of Horror and Dark Fantasy Stories in Anderson's series. Includes stories about ancient gods, resurrected rock stars, and bloodthirsty drums, haunted trains, Bela Lugosi, and the real Vlad the Impaler. From Deborah Sheldon, we have Spawn 2, more weird horror tales about pregnancy, birth, and babies, out from IFWG Publishing International in trade paperback and ebook. This is an original anthology of 22 stories from Australasian authors reinterpreting birth and babies in a myriad of unexpected ways. That wraps up this week. Please subscribe and don't forget to turn notifications on so that YouTube can help us connect every week. We want to see you back next week because there's going to be a whole new crop of books. Drop me a comment, let me know what you're thinking about. Come visit us at Locus Mag and at Locus Magazine on most platforms. Let us tell you everything we work so hard to learn. Locus is a 501c3 nonprofit. Thanks for spending your precious time with us. If you've got it to give, we've got a Patreon. We couldn't do this work without your support. We'll see you next week with more new books.